for some years, I ain't never left. Nigga try to save his life like he's scared of death. I got Hellstar on my body, bitch, I'm heaven sent. Hey, this UPK ain't nothing, we on fellowship. Been in this shit for some years, I ain't never left. Nigga try to save his life like he's scared of death. I got Hellstar on my body, bitch, I'm heaven sent. Hey, this UPK ain't nothing, we on fellowship. Florida Lee on my top, this a Saints hat. This the third can't be been in, he a J-Cat. Nigga tryna steal the sauce, yeah, I hate that. But I ain't make the rules, I can't change that. New bottle, new wine, yeah, I can't crack. Look, flag on the play, they grabbing face masks. Niggas always saving hoes, where your cape at? The only killer that you know without no face tag. Hell yeah, my bitch bad, Proverbs 31, yeah. This is not a drill, I be 30'd up, yeah. He about to crack the sky, you better hurry up. It's all bad when you see us hang that jersey up. It's mad brick, I got the blick with my cover on. He a fed, he a op, got his cover blown. Look, I'm really outside without no scully on. It's one West, bitch, I'm on with my brothers on. He got ranked, then he left, he broke another oath. I got the plate, we about to take another zone. They was sleeping on the team, now they comatose. Left his brother out to dry, I guess he wanna fold. Put the oil on his head, that's another soul. I try to tell him we a pro, don't do this shit at home. She unhappy, left her man, she a 304. He try to justify that shit, he broke the penal code. Been in this shit for some years, I ain't never left. Nigga try to save his life like he's scared of death. I got Hellstar on my body, bitch, I'm heaven sent. Hey, this UPK ain't nothing, we on fellowship. Been in this shit for some years, I ain't never left. Nigga try to save his life like he's scared of death. I got Hellstar on my body, bitch, I'm heaven sent. Hey, this UPK ain't nothing, we on fellowship. Gotta watch these niggas, they be cointel. Lil' bro ain't never killed nobody, but I know he will. It's on me, yeah, where I go, yeah, that's the holy seal. My niggas itching when it's up, you better not touch a chair. Ooh, I'm with the extra, that's off the back. He ain't loyal to his brothers, how you follow that? She either working with her hands or she off her bag. Broke bitches, yeah, they done that, give me a heart attack. You see the banner above my head, I'm a part of that. These niggas cowards, pussies, we don't want no parts in that. They let our warrior out of prison, he ain't going back. And don't be speaking on the truth, cause we with all of that. Look, before they started dissing, they was fans first. You will never catch me digging in no man purse. Really put my brick in, that's why my hands hurt. And don't be speaking bullshit, that make my head hurt. Look, I done burn my fingers from the Michael Drake. For the brotherhood, I done threw my life away. I never see him, tell him come out from their high place. We can't do it, we told them we gon' find a way. They rather march 1,000 deep, we rather feed the people. They wouldn't put on all black, now he reading Hebrew. UPK the standard if you speak on Hebrew. Don't think they solid, get with them niggas just gon' leave you. Been in this shit for some years, I ain't never left. Nigga try to save his life like he's scared of death. I got Hellstar on my body, bitch, I'm heaven sent. Hey, this UPK ain't nothing, we on fellowship. Been in this shit for some years, I ain't never left. Nigga try to save his life like he's scared of death. I got Hellstar on my body, bitch, I'm heaven sent. Hey, this UPK ain't nothing, we on fellowship.
Ooh, 27 Club.
All right, gang, let's really nail it this time. Here we go. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4.
Been in this shit for some years.
negros y indios nativos somos los verdaderos israelitas.
¿Esto dónde lo dice según el versículo?
Esto dice en la Biblia, está escrita en la Reina Valera.
We got to live in this district. The whitey don't come down here, man, and live in the fucked up houses, man. The whitey don't come down here, man, and have all the fucked up fucking no heat in the fucking winter time. You understand? We do, Jack. So therefore, like, wow, we got to make it a better place. You understand that?
Like they want to make it a racial problem, you know. So we didn't want that, you know. So I jumped in, I put it for my boy, because he's a black brother. You know? So we made an unracial problem.
We the Puerto Ricans should rise up and defend ourselves against these dogs. The North American is trying to steal our identity as Puerto Ricans and call us Americans. We Puerto Ricans are Puerto Ricans till the day we are born, until the day we die.
Chicanos killing Chicanos is what they want. Blacks and Chicanos killing each other is what they want. That's how they run this place. Once we get together, they don't run shit.
Yeah. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Y'all can hear us in the chat. Put a 1. We back at it again. Friday night. You know, this is la pura. I would say la pura neta. This is the inconvenient truth, man. And I'm right here, of course, with Mighty Priest and Officer 5000, Officer Lahab.
Hey, Shalom, bitch, y'all.
I'm right here with Mighty Priest and Officer 1000, Officer Oscar War.
Shalom, Israel.
So, sir, you might have to speak to the mic.
What's going on?
See, try it again.
You can't hear me.
You can't hear?
No, nah.
I can hear you. I can hear you fine.
How about now? Commandant?
La.
Hold on. How about now?
I can't.
There you go.
I can't.
I can hear it on this one.
Testing. Speak
check,
to the
check, check.
There you
Okay,
go.
come.
You just got speaking to the mic.
Come.
So it's going down. Of course, we got right here on Option 1000, Oscar War. Got right here, Option 1000. You know, the brother's struggling, you know, so like doing some technical, making sure the equipment's working. Option 1000, Kamada.
Hey, Shalom, Lord Christ.
And of course, I'm myself, Option 1000, Malakma, right here out of Sur Califas. Another, you know, like I said, another Friday night, man. And tonight's topics that we're gonna go over, right? We want to start with the SOS they did at the Immigration Detention Center in New Mexico.
Damn right. Look, man, like right now we're living through some hard times right now. You know, for us, it's so-called Hispanics, Latinos, you know, people that, you know, whatever you identify yourself as, whether you're Latino, Chicano, Hispanic, a lot of us consider ourselves indigenous. One thing we can all agree on is that the white man is the devil.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And they trying to put us inside concentration camps, detention centers, ICE detention centers. Right now, we're a target in America, whether you're illegal or legal.
Right.
You know, don't forget that. Whether you're legal, you still a target in America.
Right.
You know what I mean? So right now, it's time for us to wake up, man. And, you know, right now is the time for us, definitely not for us to be beefing it with each other, fighting with each other over dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? We got to come together as a people because right now we are a target in America.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right now, we're going to talk about a little later on where they're building where they're trying to build a detention center in Fresno. They're trying to build a detention center in Fresno, you know, for the so-called Hispanics. You get what I mean? Right now, we got to wake up, man, and understand this ain't the time for us to be bullshitting and playing around. We got to understand that, you know, we got an enemy. We got a common enemy, whether you're Mexican, Salvadoran, Guatemalan, Nicaragua, Cuban, Puerto Rican. We got a common enemy, and you know they out here to get us, man.
Right.
And you can think that it's all fun and games, or you can think, oh, no, they ain't gonna do that. You know, I got my papers.
Right.
You know, I got my papers, and I'm a citizen until they come and get you. You know,
So
until
like,
they come and get you. You get what I'm saying? Go ahead. Because that's a high possibility that they could come get you. Listen, I know people that have gotten that knock on the door and have gotten detained.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So what, you don't think that gonna happen to you? Stop being so goddamn ignorant, man.
Right.
Look, you're gonna be a full out Donald Trump supporter wearing the Donald Trump hat, you know, voted and talk all that mess about illegals. They gonna come for you too.
Right.
And they gonna take you in, and they'll be like, oh, you know what? You know, he was a citizen, but you know what? He's not in our hands no more. Like, come on, man. Like, stop taking that risk. Stop being so damn stupid, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're really out to get us.
And if I could,
Go
sir,
ahead,
like they already deported citizens, you know what I mean, out the country. And not only that, but how you were mentioning that, you know, they're building a detention center. And not only that, but also, you know, my pops was telling me how they're raiding the Home Depots. And I saw a video how you can't even party. You can't even go clubbing because they're also raiding the clubs.
Good.
You know what I mean? Like Hispanics can't go to work and can't go party. Like that's insane. Sir,
But no, that's what it is, man. And for us, man, like, this ain't the time for us to be fooling around. This ain't the time for you to be thinking that you a part of America, and you know you a good American citizen, and you part of this country, because they don't give a damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, eventually, what they'll do is, if they detain all the illegals, who's gonna be next?
Right.
You.
Right.
You're gonna be the next one up in line.
So, like,
you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, like, go ahead.
Another thing that I saw too, sir, it was a video that was saying that Donald Trump was trying to make truckers, right, to only speak English.
Right.
And then, like, he's such a hypocrite, because you know, they were saying, like, well, are you gonna tell your wife to, you know, speak proper English? Like, don't speak, you know, in her accent, you know, with an accent. Like, she's gonna have to, you know, not only that, but you know, she's not even a resident, right?
Right.
Is she a resident yet, or is she still an illegal herself?
What she is, man. Like,
You know, what's her status?
I think she here illegally, man. To be quite honest,
you know,
like,
just
go
you know, just to show you that a felon, you know, America would let a felon uphold illegals, you know what I mean, to a standard, but does not hold his own wife that's an illegal to the same standard. And that's America for you. The damn hypocrites. That's all I said.
He a felon. He's the one in charge telling you, like, you can't do this, you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? But I want to know about this, man. Like, where are all the Chinese? Like, where's all the pressure for the Chinese?
Right.
Like, we need to get all these Chinese and put them inside the ICE detention centers. And, you know, we need to get them out of the streets because they're coming here illegally.
Right.
You know how many legal Chinese there are in America? East Indians, Africans. What about
Ukrainians, Arabs, all of them.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of illegal Ukrainians, illegal Iranians. You know what I mean? Illegal Chinese in America, but the target right now is Mexicans, Central Americans, people from South America, Venezuela. That's the target right there. But they don't paint the picture on them, but they do paint the picture on us. You know what I mean? That should tell you something. You know, that should tell you something. If you're a so-called Latino in America, that you are a target out here,
right?
You know, and you gotta be dumb and ignorant to be the one to be like, oh, but I'm the legal one. I'm the legal one. You guys are the illegal one. You guys should have came here legally. You know, if y'all would have done it the right way, this wouldn't have happened to you. Like, come on, man. Are you stupid, bro? Like, how many uncles came here illegally? You know, your uncles or your grandparents or things like that, you know, grandfather, uncle, aunt, sister, whatever, you know, came here illegally. And you think these cats are out here terrorizing everybody? You think they're out here terrorizing and stealing and robbing? Nah, man, a lot of these cats come out here just for work. Slave, we're literally becoming slaves because we're the ones coming out here and working 10-hour shifts, 15-hour shifts on the grind. Just so we can get a house, you know,
you in line,
make a living, look out for the family, and then give it down to and pass the house down to the next generation. That's what we're doing out here.
Right.
I ain't gonna say everybody on the same, same path, but the majority of our people are doing that.
That's what they set their hearts towards. You know what I mean? When an illegal wants to come to the US, they're only thinking about prosperity. You know what I mean? Going to work and getting it in by any means and sending money back to build a house and help their own families. You know what I'm saying? That's all I hear every time I speak to an illegal. You know what I'm saying? They say how, you know, they got an opportunity and they're using the opportunity to make ends meet and also send money back to their country to help their family that's back home.
If I could,
go ahead, Malama.
If I could just add real quick, right? I know I messed up on the title. I said Texas Detention Center, but it was a New Mexico Detention Center, right? I believe is where it happened. So, you know, once again, Salakia, if I didn't get the title right. Want to shout out the chat real quick. You got, you know, shout out Officer 5000 out of Bar. We got Officer 50 Kwadasha Allah. What's going down, priest?
Shalom.
We got the sister LeBois. You know what's going down, sis? Shalom.
Shalom, sis.
Also, just a heads up, man, if y'all could, we got your officer, you call your Allah up in here. Orale carnal, man, you know, class of 2025, you know, got that footage, you know, if you trying to, you know, hop in that walk and not doing your thing, man. We got real quick, Officer Mata Bar said the oppressor, the real ones who are the immigrants, right? To what you brothers were saying earlier. That's who, you know, that's the true illegal in this plan. And here's the thing, man. I want to share this, man. There's no bigger hypocrite, no bigger, how do I say it? No one that acts more entitled on this planet than the so-called white man. You know what I mean? El hombre blanco, el gringo. There are people that want to claim they're the epitome of civility. That they're a law-abiding people. That they're so intelligent. You know, but they're the opposite of all that, man. They commit a lot of crime. They're the ones here illegally, man. If you want to play that card. No, you know what I mean? Y'all came over here, stole the land from indigenous people, then treated them like they're the immigrants, man. And that's why you're the devil that the Bible speaks of. It's got nothing, like I said, I'll reiterate, it's got nothing to do with your skin color, the color of your eyes. It's everything on the content of your character as to why we say that, as to why God says that. So for everyone, you know, thinking this is racism, this is, you know, we're just, you know, doing quote unquote hate speech. We're not doing hate speech. We're telling the truth. That's what we're doing. And I know a lot of people don't want to face the truth, sir.
And I tell you this, Malama, you saying something real heavy. Like, what's hate about it? You know, we out here talking, telling the truth about what happened to our people. Talking about what the white man, the Europeans have done to our people now and in the past.
Right.
So, like, if you got a problem with what we're saying, if you have a problem with us saying, hey, you know what? The white man is the devil. The white man put us in slavery, put us in captivity, murdered us, raped us, enslaved us, raped our women, took our culture, took our heritage. Man, like, who got the problem? Like, is it me or is it you?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you think, oh man, what they're saying is racist. You know, they're saying they're what they're saying is racist. But what's racist about what we're saying? I don't think the problem is what we're saying, but I think you got a little bit of white love in you. You know what I'm saying? I think you got a little bit of love for the oppressor in you. If not a little bit, but a lot of love for the oppressor in you.
You know what I'm saying? Not a little bit, but a lot.
I think the problem is that you love the white man.
Right.
And you love the oppressor.
And
that's what the issue is. You know what I mean? But go ahead. Where we at?
Officer 5000 Malabar said they just hate the truth.
They hate the truth. That's damn right. They hate the truth.
So like I said, if I could, they hate the truth so much that I was trying to tell a sister. I haven't seen it because I went to Passover, took a vacation, and I got back. And that sister's like, man, I haven't seen you. What you been up to? And I told her about the feast days, and that's our culture. And she told me, she said, man, you know what? I don't care about the truth. I just want to believe in what I believe. I want to be a Catholic Roman, a Roman Catholic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, what are you saying? Like, you are traitor to Christ because the Romans crucified Christ. And I was explaining that, and she understood exactly what I was saying, but she still does not, she wants to remain ignorant.
You know what it is? That she don't even give a damn about being a Roman Catholic either. She don't care about that. But what it is that being a Roman Catholic gives you the freedom to do whatever it is you want to do. You know what I'm saying? You a Roman Catholic, you a Christian, you can pretty much do whatever you want to do, and and there is no accountability. You get all the forgiveness that you can get. Right. But in the UPK, we hold you accountable for the things that you do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like the things that you do in here, you held accountable.
Yeah.
I want to say, like, if you let's say this. If you have an art with the brother, if you have a trespass, if you have a beef, let's say beef, you have a beef with the brother, there's the way you get held accountable for that.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? You can't go out doing the things that you want to do and never get held accountable for the things that you do. You get what I mean?
And so, like I said, like to even take it further, like not just contention between brothers in the school, but your own actions. If a brother sees you out of order or sees you out the spirit, that brother's gonna pull you to the side and he's gonna ask you like if everything's good, man. And that's what a good brother does, man. It keeps you in the spirit, while everyone else in the world, they want to be in the spirit of America because they love America.
Right.
But the thing is that America is what destroys your spirit, because America influences you to do everything against God, and that is what brings a judgment.
Right.
Sir.
Accountability, man. That's a big thing. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what group you're in or where you're at, but I know in the UPK you get held accountable for what you do and what you say.
Sir. Now that's what makes you better.
That's what makes you better.
That's what makes you a lot better.
And you know what? A lot of people are afraid of that.
Right,
a lot of people like the freedom to say what you want to say and do what you want to do. A lot of people are like, oh, my own man. I do what I want to do.
Right.
But listen, you doing what you want to do is why you get in trouble. Is why you get into the problems that you get yourself into.
Right.
Why you get arrested, why you're always in jail. Why you're always in fights. Because you do what you want to do.
Right.
You ain't got someone telling you, hey, man, stop doing that. Stop saying that. Stop acting like that. Stop going there. Stop being with these type of women. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Someone is telling you what to do. And you got to understand, at least in the UPK, we got men that are better than us in the UPK. Like, I have men that are over me that are way 10 times, 20 times better than me. And give me good advice. Give me good counsel. They tell me what to do and what not to do.
Right.
And that's what you need.
Exactly.
But a lot of brothers don't want that. A lot of our brothers in the world don't want to be held accountable and don't want to be told what to do. You know what I mean? But if you want to get better, then that's where you got to go. It's like you.
Sir, if you want to save your life, do like we did. We put our life in the hands of brothers that were better than us. And now we could take control of our own life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But if you don't put if you are reckless out here, what they call it, crashing out.
Right.
You know what I mean? You crashing out every day or so often. You know what I mean? You need to put your life in the hands of a man that's better than you, man.
It's like, what's crashing out? My bad. What's crashing out?
Crashing out is just being like taking it there without giving the F, sir.
Like you have no self-control at all.
Yeah,
just
blowing
one
up.
little thing is gonna make you go to prison. You killed
sir.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Crash out.
They're ready. They're ready to take it to the place of no return. You know what I'm saying?
But it's not even that serious.
Yeah, sir. And exactly what Officer Oscar Ward said. It's not even that serious, man. And the ISUPK has a solution for any matter at hand. You know what I mean? You just got to seek counsel. And the ISUPK is the home where you can seek counsel from righteous men that are going to give you the proper counsel to prosper and better your life. Because a lot of times you wake up the next day and you're vexed. You feel ashamed of the things that you've done. And that is the total proof that you can no longer take control of your life. You need another man to tell you what to do.
Right. If I can tell you this, and that's so heavy because we all know we got men that are better than us. You go from Commanding General Hana to General Hyman to the generals to the captains, men that are way better than us. Like people in the world, you got men that you call better than you. Those are your so-called big homies. And those are them cats is cracked out or on drugs, drunks, or who knows what. You following the wrong person.
Right.
You know, you following the wrong man and you taking advice from the wrong person. You in the organization and the person that you're following is a child molester.
Right.
The person that you're following is raping women.
Right.
Or the person that you're following is a drug addict.
Right.
In the organization that you're in that claims to love their own people, they're molesting kids and drug addicts and drunks, you know. And you taking advice from them. Those men are not better than you. You know, but I know in the UPK, we hold that standard. We keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. I know there are men in this school that are 20 times better than me, and I trust them because I know they going, you know, I know they follow the scriptures and the Bible to, you know, to the T.
Right.
You know, and it's not just talk, is what they do as well. You know what I mean? What they do, the way they live their life speaks for itself. It's like, you know.
And I was gonna say this too, sir, that a lot of times, you know how you were saying they're big homies, right? They're big homies. They're how would you say, like they looking to take that position of their big homie.
Right.
So either the big homie is gonna backslide them, or they're ready to look for the opportunity to backslide the big homie. So are they really homies? They're not. You know what I mean? It's just a business. You know what I mean? But in the ISUPK, we're about brotherhood. That's what we're about, man.
Right.
And you can't be mighty. You can't be strong. You know what's our motto? Our motto is
no excuses.
Brotherhood is a weapon. Right. You know what I'm saying? You can't fight anything in this world without brotherhood. You're gonna try to fight it for yourself, but how far is that gonna get you? It's not going to get you anywhere.
All right, Con, sir.
You want to bring out that story?
Yeah. So we're going to bring out the first story, right, for tonight. And we're probably going to get to the main thing, right? Just shout out a few more people up in here. We got ISUPK Durham, the 919, Shalom, Lord Christ.
Shalom.
Israelites of East Carolina, Shalom, Yabashakata. Then Officer Matabar said they'll follow the men that tell them lock the door.
Damn. Lock the doors. Lock the door.
They're going to follow Christians.
Right. We got Officer Maya Shar. Damn right, sir. The UPK is the only place where men of the Lord are. So let's go to the first story. I put a link in the TikTok chat, you know, for our channel to our live if people can go there. If you got any questions, type them in. Any questions or comments, y'all go ahead and let it be known.
Solaris, you want to bring out the Fresno camps or which one?
What we got going on? What's the first thing we got going on?
We got the Pope. We got Trump jokingly saying
we got a lot going on.
He wants to be the Pope.
I'll do the SOS. You want to do the SOS first, or
let's do the SOS? Come on, let's do SOS.
All right. I think I got already saved right here. Let me share it. Oh, damn it. Let me find another article because this is if I don't have a subscription, I can't access it. So of course, what's been circulating on the internet right now is an image, right, of migrants, quote unquote, right, doing a SOS at a detention center. And with that going on, it makes you wonder, like, how horrible is it inside that detention center? Like, what's really going down? You know, why are they saying SOS? So here's an article. Let me get it on here. Okay. So okay, so I'm right. It was a Texas Detention Center. I'm gonna share it right now on the chat, or not on the chat, on the StreamYard. The article goes: Migrants form SOS sign in Texas Detention Center. Fear notorious El Salvador prison. So from the title, it seems like they're gonna send them to what's it called, to the El Secot prison. It says days earlier, immigration officials gave Venezuelan detainees at the center notices that alleged they were Tren de Aragua members and subject to deportation under the wartime law. Detainees at the Blue Bonnet Immigrant Detention Center in the small city of Anson, Texas, sent the outside world a message this week, SOS, with a Reuters drone flying nearby. 31 men formed the letters in the dirt yard of the facility on Monday. 10 days earlier, dozens of Venezuelan detainees at the center were given notices by immigration officials that alleged they were members of the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua and subject to deportation under a wartime law, according to documents shown to Reuters, recorded video calls, and proceedings. So here's the image. So I got one thing right that stands out in my head: wartime laws. Why are they using wartime laws on Venezuelans? That's my question. To the audience in the chat, anyone want to answer? Y'all explain why they're using wartime laws on Venezuelans.
I just want to bring out real quick, if I could, what wartime law is for the brothers in the chat who don't know, who are not familiar with that's talking about. Wartime law refers to the set of legal rules and principles that apply during armed conflict, whether between countries or within a country, civil war. It's often called the law of armed conflict, international humanitarian law, the rules of war. The two main parts are Geneva Conventions, protect civilians, prisoners of war, and wounded soldiers. Hague Conventions govern how wars are fought. So that's just a little background on what wartime law is for brothers who don't know. So like, what was the question again? For the
is why are they using wartime laws? Raleigh-Durham Israelites said the oppressor is the devil the Bible speaks of. They got a payback coming for what they've done to our Latino brothers and sisters.
Damn right.
Like, let me tell you something. Like, you know, like, for like America really does not have a problem with Venezuela. Like, what the hell are people from Venezuela doing to America? You get what I'm saying? Or what are people from Mexico doing to what's the problem with Mexicans being in America? Like, what the hell are we doing?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? All we're doing is working your slaveries and working your fields and, you know, doing the jobs that you ain't trying to work. But what about the Chinese? You know, like, you know what? I've been hearing about the beef or the fight between China and America for a long time.
Right.
You know, I've been hearing that for, man, since I was damn near a kid. How America's in debt with China. China cyber attacks against America. You know, Chinese spies in America.
Right.
You know, same thing with Russians. And so why aren't they doing that? Why aren't they rounding up all these Chinese and putting them inside detention centers?
Right.
Y'all know why? Who can take a guess why they ain't doing that? Why aren't they doing that to the Chinese and doing that to the Russians? Why aren't they grabbing them by the hundreds and thousands and putting them inside the detention centers? Who wants to take a guess why? Yeah, in the comments, who want to take a guess at it?
Yeah, right. Anybody want
to?
Why
Why are they doing that?
So, like, if I could too, sir, because I was gonna say, right, the Chinese and the Russians, they're known as America's #1 enemy, and they operate as a mafia, not a gang. They operate as a mafia since the early 60s or what have you. I don't know what era, but you know what I'm saying. And also the Ukrainians,
right?
It's more than a mafia,
right, sir? So it's a syndicate. You know what I'm saying. But the thing is that why aren't they? Like, you know, they know that the Chinese are creating the fentanyl. You know, they say that's where the Mexicans get it from. But why aren't the Chinese being targeted just like the Mexicans? Because that's who the Mexicans get the fentanyl from.
Anybody comment on the thing?
Not yet.
No, you know why? Because they got an army. That's why. The Chinese have an army. The Russians have an army. They will defend their people. They ain't afraid to go to war with the U.S.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? They got a whole nation army that will defend them.
Okay.
So what the U.S. does, they pick on the weaker.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They know that the U.S. can take on Mexico. They know they can take on Venezuela.
Right.
You know, those are people that they can go to war with. That's a nation they can go to war with. But they can't go to war with China. Because China, that's a whole fight that they're going to have right there.
Okay.
With Russia, that's a whole fight.
Okay.
You know, and that's not a fight that they want to take. Because if they take it, it's going to be an equal amount of people that are going to die from each side. That's why they got to have those nuclear bombs.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Because,
that's what I want to say. Because they got nukes.
They got nukes.
God.
They got nukes too.
Right.
You know, so it's damn near that they're a bully. America's a bully. But what they don't know, this is going to go into a little bit in the topic.
So like, sir,
what's up?
If I could, Chain Breakers podcast answer your question. They said, Salakia, sir, you're absolutely right. They'll do nothing to those other heathens, but they will do whatever they want to God's chosen people.
Right. So they think they can fight. Like they ain't trying to fight with the Russians and Chinese because they got an army. Well, what they don't know is that we got a God, though.
Right.
You know, that we got a God that's gonna fight for us. You know, they think we're weak right now. We in cartels and drugs. We're vulnerable and we're weak.
Right.
You know, but we got the Most High that gonna fight for us.
Okay.
You know, and he gonna bring this nation down. And there's thousands of scriptures we can pull out to prove what we were saying.
So if
I would just go into Revelation the 18th chapter, and that shows where that the Most High gonna destroy America. But go ahead and come with that.
So I was gonna say that we don't have to raise a weapon against our enemies, right? If you remember, if you know the story when Christ was being arrested and Peter drew his sword and he cut the ear of the what is it, a high priestess?
Was it a Roman or was it?
It was a Roman, right? And then Christ told him to put his sword back, and then he put the put the ear back. But then Christ told him, "Don't you know that?" Just paraphrasing, he told him that the captives would be captives, like paraphrasing Romans, what is it, 13:9? He who lead into captivity shall go into captivity. Right. So Christ was letting Peter, his brother, know, man, like don't fight. You know what I mean? Just get yourself right. And that's blacks, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans today. You don't have to go to war with your enemy. The Lord would do it. You know what I'm saying? He said that I will be an adversary
to your adversaries.
You know what I'm saying? All we have to do is learn our identity and come back to our heritage.
We gotta let go of being LGBTQ.
All of that.
We gotta let go of being drug addicts and drug dealers.
All of that.
Let go of weed and crack and heroin and cocaine. We gotta let go of gang banging. We gotta let go of Christianity, Catholicism.
All of that.
Everything that you learn in America, you gotta let it go. If you want the Lord to fight with you, fight for you. So like if you want the Lord to fight for you, you gotta unlearn everything that was taught to you in the USA, in America, in Mexico, in Central America, South America, in the islands, in Canada, in the UK. You gotta unlearn everything, and then take on what the Lord wants you to learn. Take on the scriptures and what was taught to you in the UPK. Be the new man.
Okay.
You want the Lord to fight for you.
Right.
It's like where we at.
Want me to continue?
Come on.
Okay. The families of 7 detainees interviewed by Reuters said they were not gang members and that they refused to sign the document. Nevertheless, hours later on Friday, April 18th, they were loaded onto a bus bound for nearby Abilene Regional Airport, according to American Civil Liberties Union.
So they're saying they weren't gang members.
Sir.
Look, man, listen. If you listen, if you 15, 16, 17, 18, you out there gang banging, man, you better change up real quick.
Right.
Because that's gonna be you right there. You're gonna end up right there. At least when we was growing up, they throw you in jail or in prison, whatever.
Yeah.
But now you're gonna end up in the ICE detention center, and then from there, they gonna send you to El Salvador.
Right.
You know, and then
island.
once you in El Salvador, Guantanamo Bay,
Yeah.
that's it. Like, you know, there ain't no contact, you know, there ain't no visits, you know, you damn near a missing person now. You know what I mean? That's where it's at right now. So like, if you still in that lifestyle of being in gangs and things like that, man, you better change up real quick, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because this ain't no joke. You know, I mean, you can keep playing if you want, and then find out later on. But by the time you in El Salvador, it's gonna be damn near too late.
Right. If I could, sir, you know, you brought out Revelations 18. Revelations 18 says, "Come out of her, my people."
Mm-hmm.
You know, since 1969, under Commander General Ihana, we've been saying that, and it's for this same reason. People call us crazy, radicals. Y'all know what y'all doing. But every year, we see that the things that are happening in the earth are lining up with the Bible.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's really on us to wake up so that our king can come back. That's all it is.
Did you want to pull Revelations 8? What was it?
No, you ain't got to. No.
4?
I think we good though.
Yeah. No sweat. I mean, it's what the Bible says, you know. Real quick, did you want me to continue reading the article or
keep reading?
Come.
Focus up.
I just want to add something real quick, sir, before I start reading. I'm noticing a trend here. I don't know if y'all are, but I know I am, sir. You notice that majority of the people that are getting rounded up by ICE and suffering, you know, what they suffering, you know, like going to the SECOP prison and you know, getting locked up. It's coming out that none of them have any criminal records.
Right.
None of them are gang members.
Right.
And everyone was talking all that smack about, oh, they're going after the illegal immigrants who are criminals, who commit crimes.
Right.
What crime has a 2-year-old committed that warrants them getting deported from the country?
Right.
You know what I mean? A 2-year-old. That's how you know that this is, you know, Raza's being targeted.
Right.
This is not, you know, just, you know, oh, they came here, they broke the law. You know what I mean? When you get down to the principle of it, Raza can never break the law because this, you know, especially immigration law, because this is their soil.
Right.
You know what I mean? This is their home. If anyone is breaking the law, if anyone is here illegally in this country, it's you European Americans.
Right.
You're here illegally. Your ancestors stole the land. You came here unwelcome.
Right.
You settled. And then what y'all did was try to twist and redefine definitions, try to say that everyone was doing it to justify the evil y'all did.
Right.
So if anyone's a criminal, if anyone's an illegal immigrant, it's you oppressors. It's you gringos, not the raza.
Damn right.
I want to add something to it too. Like, so like when you think about ICE detention centers, right? Like, what's going on inside those detention centers?
Right.
Like, and all you have to do is just think about the reputation of the American prison system. What goes inside prison? What goes on inside the juvenile halls?
Right.
Like in LA, they just sued the LA, I believe, juvenile detention centers for child molestation and sexual abuse.
Right.
Good night,
you know, they were found guilty. Like all them cats that were staff inside the juvenile halls from the 90s up to 2000s, they found out they were doing a lot of child molesting and raping inside those juvenile halls.
Right. Good night.
And then in prisons, they do that. Now I'm talking about the staff.
God.
Not the inmates. I'm talking about the staff. You know, the security, the guards that are doing that. Now you just think about what's going on in the ICE. Like, America has a reputation of doing things like this. The way they're doing our people inside those ICE detention centers, like, is inhumane.
Right, sir.
When it comes to food, water, and then, you know, sexual abuse.
Con, sir.
You know what I mean? But go ahead, let's keep going.
Sir. The brother said the Army too does that.
Yeah.
There you go. The Army, Navy, Marines.
And it's that one sister brought it more to light. That sister that got, Lord be with her family. She got chopped up, put in a suitcase.
Right, Vanessa
Guillen.
Guillen.
And there's another Judite sister, by the name.
Oh yeah, they put
something
acid,
Johnson.
They put acid all over her
body.
Yeah,
so I got her
night, man.
The evidence.
Imagine how many people are actually being killed.
Yeah, that's what
murdered,
I'm saying.
Murdered and raped, and then like no one knows about what's going on.
Right, and but it's crazy how they flip everything on migrants.
Right,
we're the problem.
If I could,
we're the. Go ahead,
it's like if I could, real quick. If I could, like, can you touch on a little bit on the story? What happened in your family?
Oh,
I want to real quick. I want to let the brother talk about it a little bit because a lot of people might think this is a joke or this is something that's going on in social media and on Facebook and TikTok. Man, this is a real thing that's happening. I want the brother to talk about what happened in his situation.
So one of my cousins, her mother got not deported, Salaki. She got arrested because what the article was saying that they were looking for her brother because he has a criminal record. But he already cleared all that, right? He did what he had to do, went to jail, whatever you have to do, right? He did that, but just because he had a criminal record, they came for him. And then they also took his mother and they put them in a detention center in, I forget where. I think it was in, I forget what detention center they put him in, but they were in there. And my cousin, the daughter she has cancer. I didn't even know that. You know what I'm saying? Last time I saw her, she didn't have cancer. She was on a wheelchair. So when I found out, that was even more like, damn, that's cruel to do that. So she had cancer. She's on a wheelchair. So she depends on her mother. That's what she was saying. Her mother helps her, feeds her. When you need help when you're in a wheelchair, you could do it on your own, but you need that person. And they took that from her. And not only that person, but her mother. And from what I recall, she has always been really close to her mother. So that's what happened. And that just, if I could add on, that just shows the cruelty of what's happening.
It was that infamous story, right? That was circulating.
Yeah.
All over the internet.
And then they had to come up with some money, pay like $5,000, or they had to pay some crazy amount just to take the mother out of the detention center because if not, I believe she would be deported. So they got the money, took her out, and then
I'm trying to find.
I was with you, sir, when we were, out and about, and we saw them.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it just shows the cruelty of what Trump is doing. If Trump really cared, if he cared about the history of everything that Latinos have given to America and how they made America great, because without Latinos, without Blacks, and without Natives, and everything that we did, America would not exist. That's what people need to understand. But he does not consider that. No president considers it. He's the oppressor. So he doesn't give a damn if there's some girl who's helpless on a wheelchair with cancer.
Right.
They're going to take his mom.
Right. I put the story like real quick as you were talking about it, sir. I also wanted to add we got Officer 5000 Mata Bar who just joined us, sir, on the live.
All right, no sweat. Shalom, you're with us, sir.
Shalom,
yeah, shalom, sir. I'm sure with us. So like, sir, is there anything you wanted to add?
Just want to say what y'all bringing out is real heavy, man, which goes to show that we need to stop hating each other. You know what I'm saying? We need to come together as a body under the ISUPK and stop hating each other. Because your oppressor ain't gonna stop devouring you. He a wild beast.
Right.
His job is to devour us and keep us oppressed and get rich off of us. You know what I'm saying? So what y'all bringing out is heavy.
Christ, sir.
If I could, I wanted to add this to what Officer Oscar Ward was saying, that so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we need caregivers. We need a support system, and America is trying to take that away from us. But in the ISUPK, we are those caregivers. We are that support system so much that we expunge brothers' records, sisters' records, man. You should tap in and reach out to the ISUPK because we got programs that can expunge brothers and sisters' records. That's all I wanted to add.
And just add a little bit too. Like, you know, what Donald Trump tried to do is demonize Hispanics. Right. He's trying to make it seem like we're the rapists and criminals. We're coming over here and we're like just destroying everything.
Right.
I mean, this brother's like was just working. You know what I mean?
She's not a criminal. She's not a drug dealer. She's just a mother taking care of her daughter.
That's all she is. You know what I'm saying? And that's a lot of us over here just working, slaving. Like, man, like you put your shoes in a Hispanic man, the average Latino man in America, all you doing is working 10 hours and 12 hours and 13-hour shifts.
Right.
And then working more. That's all you do. Like, for those, because we know, you know, we Latino, we know that.
Yeah.
We know how our people are. Brothers just want to work and get that car, get that house, and then just, you know, look out for the family, drinking shit, you know. You know, some brothers just be drinking because all they do is slave. So when they get out the slavery, they want to drink.
And it's not a sin to drink.
They ain't a sin to drink.
Right.
And if I could, sir, you know, I brought up the Bracero program where after the Mexican-American War, the U.S. willingly brought Mexicans, right, into the U.S. to help with agriculture, picking cotton, picking fruits, picking strawberries. Why? Because that's when I think World War II was happening, right? So they had people in battle. They didn't have people to work. So who do they call? The Latinos to bring them here. And because of us, they made money. America thrived. Same thing today. Why do they have, you know, the reason why you have Whole Foods and all them fruits in there? Because of Latinos.
Right.
And the same thing back then, today, getting paid little. Getting paid nothing, being lied to and not getting paid. You know, so
Counselor, that devil when DeSantis was kicking out the, you know, he said he was gonna, you know, lock up anybody that was caught with the, you know, with an immigrant. So everybody fled from Florida, but a devil went to see what it takes to do the work of the field workers. And he said he gave up. He threw in the towel. He said, "Man, I give up."
It's not a game.
Sir, he didn't even finish his shift. And he said that a citizen that would be doing that same job would have to get paid $30 an hour off the bat. That's minimum off the bat, because that is a hard labor. That's hard labor.
That's not a joke, man.
Sir, so I remember General Yohana, he brought it out that the reason why there's the price points that they have at the markets is possible because of the Hispanics.
The low pay, right?
No. Oh. Like, if the reason why an apple costs what it costs, right? The strawberries, let's say strawberries at $7.99. These devils will come in and be like, $7.99, this is expensive. But the reason they're at $7.99, it's possible because of Hispanics. And I say Hispanics because Mexicans are not the only ones that work the fields. There's also Central Americans. They're side by side with their brothers. You know what I mean? We're brothers. You know what I'm saying? But that's the reason why. General Hyman said this. The reason why you can go and buy a pumpkin for $10, right? And then carve it and throw it away like it's nothing is possible because of brothers that are working the fields. Because if a citizen or you know, an oppressor was to work those fields, that pumpkin would be $30.
Right.
Somebody's not going to carve a face into a pumpkin and just to throw it away. But that's possible because of Hispanics.
Right.
If I could real quick,
lock you too.
You see,
and
so go ahead, sir.
People need to realize is that ain't nothing but another mental wall on your mind. The same way our Latino brothers get used, the same thing they did to the so-called Negroes.
Right.
So they try to put you in a mental wall to have you against each other, thinking our Latino brothers are evil and wicked. The same thing they did us when they stereotype us. They got us in movies looking like we only bums and crackheads and all drug dealers. It's a mental war. And your oppressor know how to use that to destroy our people, which keep us against each other. You got it.
Hey, I don't want it. That's why we're gonna go to Hollywood Boulevard and expose Hollywood.
Damn right.
That movie thing is real.
Okay.
How they portray us, how they want us to be seen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And what I was gonna say, sir, is backing up what you saying, because the same thing they did to the so-called black man, to the so-called native man, and to us to this day, they're doing it to all of us to this day. They're talking about Tren de Agua, MS-13, 18th Street. That's true. But why though? Because we oppressed. That's why.
Sir.
But look, all the great things that we did. You see what I'm saying? The Bracero program.
Right.
We came over here and worked in fields and helped America thrive. They don't talk about that though. We fought in their wars.
Right.
You understand? We fought in there. We wasn't hiding. We was fighting.
Right.
There's tons of Native Indians, black men, Native men, black men, Latino men who are awarded for being warriors in the U.S. Army. All the great things we did, they're not going to talk about that. They're not going to brag about. Trump is not going to brag about that in his rallies. He's going to demonize us and make us look like we're the problem.
Right.
If you can pull Obadiah 1 and 3.
Concert.
No, you absolutely right, man. They demonizing us and making us seem like we the worst of the worst.
Like we saying
so like I said, if I could,
go ahead.
Right, when you saying how they demonize us, right? But they demonizing us because we are living their lifestyle. They, is that propaganda? Like they, how you were saying, they portray us how they want to portray us, but at the same time, they put influence in the movie, and then we glorify it.
Right.
And we try to assimilate, but it's not congruent to our spirit, because so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we have a spirit of the Lord. And when you try to live a lifestyle that's not congruent to your spirit, that's when you start to destroy yourself. And your enemy can use that to say, look at them. They're living, they start to demonize. Like you say that, they're gangbangers, they're rapists, they're this, and that. But that's the culture and the lifestyle of the same oppressor who demonizes us. You know what I mean? It's just that they label us as being wicked. So like, sir, you want to say something, sir?
So like I say, damn right. And if you look at it too, they even more do it in the jail system.
Sir.
They got us separate. They got us hating each other in jail.
Right, sir.
They got us separated and going against each other.
Sir, you're so right, sir.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, sir. Salakia.
No, you got it.
Oh, Salakia, I was going to say, you so right that, they have politics, and, like Hispanics, their politics, they rather align themselves with the oppressor rather than their brothers, you know what I mean, who are the so-called Negroes, you know what I mean? And they and a lot has to do with it because, in the gangs, they accept it. When you watch American Me and you watch Blood In, Blood Out, right? We think, that interracial marriages, you're the same, you have a little bit Hispanic, you have a little bit of black in you, you're the same people. But according to the Bible, that's not true. You are the seed of your father. But when you look at these movies, right, you see the spirit of the oppressor, and it's always, like what happened with the BLM movement. Like they gentrify it, and they what's the word? Like they infiltrated, and now they are the ones who push the politics of the program. That's all I want to say, sir. So like,
and if I could too, I forgot to bring out, when the white man shoots up a school, when the white man does something terrible, you got the white man who went into a Buffalo, New York,
right,
recorded what he did, like a black ops gang.
The Marcus, sir?
Yeah.
Okay,
And you see the video of him shooting down an old woman. Regular people.
Right.
That should be something to be remembered. Somebody does a mass shooting. Oh, his mother left him. He didn't grow up with a father. What if that's the excuse? Then we should definitely be excused because worse has happened to us. We watched our father get hung. You know what I'm saying? We watched our father on crack, on heroin, on crystal meth.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Concert. And the problem is,
they're not gonna do that though.
So like, as if I could, like, the problem is that we don't take warning. Like that right there should let us know that we should start profiling them. You know what I'm saying? Like we always, like, we don't take warning. But if we did take warning, we would not trust in our enemy. That's what the Bible says. Don't trust in your enemy. But because we don't take warning, we think we all equal.
Right. Y'all remember that one time where that devil, he dressed up as a Joker and went into that movie theater and started shooting everybody inside the movie theater? Like, man, like that, you know what I'm talking about?
That's some
I know
that
exactly
devil
what you're talking
this
about.
happened in Colorado.
Hold on. I'll put the picture. I know everyone remembers that
dressed up
incident.
as a Joker.
This happened during the time of the Batman movie.
Right.
And there was a devil that dressed up as a Joker, went into a movie theater and threw tear gas.
Smoke bombs.
Threw tear gas in the theater and started shooting up everybody.
That's why you got to profile these devils.
Right.
You got to put out, Trump should make put out a decree to check, to frisk any devil with any type of suspicion of being a terrorist.
Let me tell you
the picture right there.
And let me tell you something, like black and Hispanic people, we don't do things like that.
We trying to go to work.
You might hear 1-2 cases like that, but the majority of them are white folks done grew up in a nice neighborhood, done got money, wealthy, went to college, damn, probably ain't got no trauma, maybe a little bit, but they don't go through what we go through.
Yeah.
And the minute they get that little bit of trauma, they do things like that right there.
They not sure what happened. It's like,
I was gonna bring up in Texas too.
Yeah.
And remember in Texas when that devil went to that Walmart and shot up all the
Patrick Crucis.
Patrick Crucis.
He drove what 10 miles. What he drove, like
he drove like 10 hours.
10 hours.
10 hours, man.
10 hours.
He
the whole
targeted.
Time he was driving, he never said, "I'm gonna go back." That's a bad idea.
He specifically targeted a Hispanic community.
Yeah. He said it's an invasion.
Go ahead, sir.
Go ahead.
And what's so crazy is his own people try to assassinate him, so-called. So why you ain't calling your own people terrorists?
Right.
Hey, but what's that story? So were you gonna say something else?
No, that was it.
Oh, so like, what's that story? Malak, remember just recently, it was I think he was Jewish too, where he unalived his own parents.
Right.
To use the money trying to conspire against like Donald Trump because he's mad his own people.
See, that's like a bad child. That's like a child running around, riding on the wall. You got too much freedom. You got to put him in his place. America's focused on the wrong people.
Yeah,
they focus on the people who waking up 5 a.m. to go build his house, to take their daughter to the quinceañera, to have a barbecue,
to work 12 hours,
regular stuff.
That's right here.
They need to focus on their kids who are out here shooting up schools, raping little girls. I just seen like 3 stories of people of Caucasian people raping, doing child porn, and all other types of stuff.
Night, man.
That's what you need to,
sir.
Put what was that thing called? That war thing, HO, the thing they're putting on us, the Civil War, the war,
war on terror,
the war on terror. They need to put that on Caucasians.
Right.
So like I said, if I could, like going back to that, like, every time they say war on drugs, war on terror, like, the whistleblower,
war on immigration.
Right. Like when you think about war on drugs, you think that they're going after anybody that's selling drugs.
Right.
But the whistleblower, why they call it whistleblower, like that means war on blacks and Hispanics.
Man.
When they say war on terrorists, like they don't mean Arabs, because the Arabs are the what they call them, sir. What's when they flew the planes? Al Qaeda. Everybody knew that they were the terrorists, and when they say war on terror, they don't mean Al Qaeda. They don't mean them. They mean black and Hispanics. Every time they say
on immigration,
right. They don't mean, because the Mongoloids and these oppressors are also illegals, but what they mean is war on Hispanics and Native Indians, because they're also deporting the Native Indians back to Canada.
Right.
You know what I mean? But Khan.
If I could bring a precept out real quick.
I got over that too when everybody's wanted.
Okay, let me read this real quick. Psalms 55:21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
Right.
But war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords.
Khan.
If I could, Donald Trump gonna tell you he's gonna give you papers, he's gonna make America great. And there you go, a Latino voting for Trump. You don't understand. He got everything he's doing right now. It was already planned.
Like you said, he gonna what? Give you papers and what?
He gonna give you papers. He's gonna
make America great.
Make America great for you. You think it's something about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna give my papers, but them papers ain't for you. They ain't for Mexicans and Central Americans. They from the East Indians and the Arabs and the Chinese. Those that's for them. He gonna make America great, but not for you. He gonna make America hell for you. But he gonna make America great for all the rich and the wealthy and the whites and the Chinese and the East Indians. That's who that's for. That great America is for them, not for us. Go ahead.
If I could, sir, I remember General Jaime was breaking down the reason why America does not target like other countries, right? Is because they have like policies with them and things like that. But just recently, I saw a video. It was just it was like videos on YouTube about police, stopping. Like what do they call it when they stop people?
Stop and frisk.
Not stop and frisk, but it was just like pulling over people. They pulled over a prince from what's over there? What's so what's over there? Dubai.
They put him over here.
No, he was driving a Ferrari.
But here,
in Florida. This happened in Florida. And the police officer pulled him over, right? And then he's driving a Ferrari. He's driving fast. And then he told them, they have an embassy. He's like, man, like I have an embassy, man. Like, check my family. It's not gonna look good. He told him it's not gonna look good if you arrest me. And I'm the son of a royal family. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's the case with America. America has business with other countries.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And of course, in our countries, our leaders are not our own people.
Right.
Like in Mexico, that woman that's the president, she's not an indigenous the indigenous lineage.
She's white.
She's a bastard.
Make it simple.
Kind of so-called, and more so, a so-called, ish.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the leader in Central America, Salvador, he's also a heathen. He's not one of our own. You know what I mean? So they're never going to have our best interests in mind. But because America has, policies and has, these business with them, right? But with the other countries, they'll allow them to get away with with anything, right? And the thing that happened is that this police officer covered his camera and he slapped the prince, slapped him. And so they said like a few days later from the embassy, they said if the police officer was to ever touch grounds in Dubai or in their country, he was going to be arrested immediately and served 30 years for putting his hands on a family member of the royal family.
See, that's what we need as Black Latinos and natives.
We're
not gonna get it serving America though. You know what I'm saying? We gotta come back to the Lord, man. We gotta come back to our laws, our statutes, our commandments. That's the only way we're gonna get any type of power.
No, it's heavy. So like, did y'all want to go to the next story? I also have Obadiah 1 and 3.
Yeah, come on.
Consolides.
I think Oscar got it.
Yeah, I could read it.
We could.
Obadiah 1 and 3. The pride of thine heart had deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the cleft of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?
That's in the Bible right there. Those who dwell in the clefts of the rock. What we talking about? We talking about the people that dwell in the clefts of the rock in the Caucasus Mountains. You talking about the white man?
Troglodytes.
like the Lord is telling you.
Bible right there.
Only if we could listen. Only if our people listen to the Bible, we need to walk. Like the Bible is not hard to read. You know what I'm saying? Like you just need to break down. It's not a mysterious book.
It's not that
right.
deep.
The Bible's not magic.
You know what I'm saying?
You know,
that's why we are the universal practical knowledge.
Practical key word, man. Practical.
But listen, you talking about the clefts of rock, people that come from the mountains, right? And what do they have? They have pride in their heart,
right?
Like these are people that ain't got no culture, ain't got no no culture, no identity, ain't no hygiene, no flavor, nothing. But they got the pride in their heart, like they better than you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like these devils think they better than us.
Hey, sir, if I could.
The only reason, the only reason why they better than us is because we want to be like them.
Exactly.
Right. We want to be like them, act like them, talk like them, and we don't want to follow the laws of the Most High. That's the only reason why they're better than us right now. But we came back to our culture, came back to the commandments and the laws, came back to, the Most High, what the Most High wants to do. Man, we them.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? But it's like, Josh, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, sir, I'll put it into rap, where you got Black, Hispanics, natives. We rap. When you now it's common. When you see a white man rap, it's like, that's amazing.
Good.
And that's how it is, like, because how you're saying he's a caveman. He has no type of flavor. So when he does it, it's amazing. So that makes him feel like, man, I'm better than everybody. Like we do it.
He has no skills.
We do it like it's nothing.
Right.
You think you great when it's really nothing. So that's his pride. Like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm better than everybody when he don't understand.
And on the other hand, the thing is like with Jake Paul. You know why everybody hate Jake Paul? Because he beating up on everybody. But we know damn well, like if he fought someone that was his age, his size, that there some Ishcry or some Judite will mop his ass up all over the floor, because we know damn well that devil can't fight.
Right.
That motherfucker on PEDs and steroids, and that's why he's winning.
Right.
But if you put him on an Ishcry without the PEDs, without the steroids, some Judite from South Central or from Louisiana or from Texas or from somewhere from the hood gonna go up in there and give him uppercuts and mop him up all over the floor, and he will never show his face again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they're not like us, You get what I'm saying? But it's like, what are you gonna say, Oscar? Come on, let's keep going.
So, like, did you want to pull the next story, or did anything else that you wanted to add to this, sir?
I think that's it. That's where we at.
Want to talk about the attack in Inglewood?
What else we got?
Kind of. So we also got Trump. Oh, you want to talk about Trump?
Okay, that's going to the pride of that heart. Yeah, this is going to Trump.
All right.
So you say that he wants to proclaim himself as the Pope now?
That's what we're about to read right now.
Imagine that.
God damn.
Let me shout out the chat real quick. So we got Trooper Patak, Shalom Akiyab up in here. We got Real Jake 144, Shalom Shabakata. After my Yasharala said, if you can't see that the white man is Esau, you're short bus slow.
Mm-hmm.
Hey man, I mean the like as the scriptures have brought out, man, who else is prideful in this country, man? Who else thinks that they're the epitome of civility? Like I said earlier, they think they're the epitome of being civil, of being right, of being proper. I remember I seen a reel where there was an Edomite, like some famous Edomite on YouTube, and he was talking to some people, right? And then another Edomite comes up to him. It was like a younger teenager, right? And he's trying to rap to him. And this is what the Edomite tells him. He's like, you need to stop acting black. That's what he told him. And act like what did he say? act what's the term? Damn. But basically, act proper is what he's trying to tell them.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, he's telling them to act white. That's what he's telling them, you know? That to act white means to act proper.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, you know, like, that's how society has deemed it. That's why they tell you to, you know,
like, don't be ignorant.
Don't be ignorant. But when you go to the slavery, right, you got to speak English.
Oh, yeah.
You got to shave your beard.
Okay.
You can't wear braids. Mm-hmm. You can't, you know, rock a Mexican flag. You know, be proud of your culture, because they want you to forget your culture, forget who you are, and be like them.
Right.
You know what I mean? To be under them. So you know that's you know that's a reality. I also wanted to point out something else that ISUPK Durham, the 919, said, and it's right here. ICE has no due process. They find our Latino family and immediately expel them, right? So ICE doesn't care about, you know, like the process. They just want to make their quotas. That's why you see them randomly running up on Raza and trying to, you know, deport them.
Okay.
And ruthlessly, man. So that's just something I wanted to add on. So the next story we're going to talk about Trump and his I guess his big thing for his quote unquote birthday. Let me share it.
You want to be the Pope and you want to have the military on his birthday.
Right. Imagine that, man.
Like, this devil done made himself God.
Gosh,
you know, you know, to the white man in America.
The pride of his heart.
Deceived him, man. He thinks he's untouchable.
Okay.
So here it is. Trump plans to celebrate 79th birthday with tanks and troops.
He done made himself a dictator. That's what
right.
it is.
Yeah. Everybody's saying America's the greatest place ever. Well, you know, we're nothing like North Korea. Well, this is what your president's doing. President Donald Trump's anticipated military parade for his 79th birthday is shaping up to be a full-fledged extravaganza involving more than 6,500 soldiers. Planning documents obtained by the Associated Press detail that the parade, which would celebrate both Trump's birthday and the military's 250th anniversary in June, will reportedly showcase the Army's many years of service by bringing in soldiers from at least 11 corps and divisions nationwide. They also will reportedly be 7 Army bands performing and even a parachute jump by the Golden Knights. Moreover, documents suggest that civilians who would also be involved with reenactor organizations and more seemingly being tapped to participate. The Associated Press estimates that at least 150 vehicles, including tank battalions, 50 helicopters, 7 bands, 6,600 soldiers, and a couple thousand civilians will define the parade.
Listen, man, I'll tell you something. Like, I ain't been around too long. You know, I'm still a young cat. I ain't that old, you know. But I ain't never seen no president do that.
For real.
Yeah, I ain't never seen who Biden, Obama, Bush. You know, damn, you're giving out my age already, but like, you know, I ain't never seen them do that. This cat want to go out with a full out military, you know, looking like damn, you're a Hitler.
He want to flex his power.
You want to flex his power, you know. Hey,
hold on, I'll give you an example of what Donald Trump wants to do to see if I can find it on YouTube, man.
I'm just imagining it, and I kind of like understand what
you ain't even got to go too far off, sir. Let me see if I can find it right here. Here we go.
Delegations from China and Russia traveled to Pyongyang this week to celebrate the 70th anniversary of the end of the Korean War that ravaged the Korean Peninsula. It's celebrated as Victory Day in North Korea. This seems to be shaking the U.S.-led world order that has been witnessing multiple diplomatic uneasiness in the Korean Peninsula. There's a report.
I can show you.
After years of pandemic isolation, North Korea has invited its friends back this week for 70th anniversary commemorations of the Korean War. Satellite images reveal that Pyongyang's preparing a large-scale military parade in its capital, with the number 70 clearly visible. The visiting dignitaries, the first known foreign delegations since the COVID-19 pandemic began, include Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu. Images from Russia's defense ministry and North Korean media showed Shoigu being greeted by North Korean Defense Minister Kang Sun-nam at the airport and rows of North Korean and Russian troops.
Here we go.
On Wednesday, Shoigu laid a wreath at a Korean War monument and called North Korea an
If y'all brothers are looking through your phones, here it goes.
I'm trying
That's what Donald Trump wants to page to go. Playing. Billion group who are helping rebuild the economy, march with colorful floats. Donald Trump is trying to copy North Korea. That's what he is. He's trying to emulate a dictator. Right. Going out the tank. The bands, the performers, the military unit.
And what Donald Trump is doing, he's trying to ease in to that position. You know what I'm saying? He's doing it very sneaky. He's starting out with these deportations.
Right.
Then he's going to start deporting. He's going to attempt to deport people with papers.
Right.
And then black people. That's what he's going to do. You understand? He might deport some other immigrants too to probably make it look like he's not targeting only us, but that's what it's going to. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to, like Malagma said, he's trying to do what they're doing, but for America. Trying to make America great again.
Right.
Greater than it ever was. You understand?
But so like I said, like what you were saying, we kind of touched on that. I think like last time, how he was saying that criminals, right, just overall, like they can be sent off to another country to serve their sentence.
Right.
You know, so when he says that, he's saying that blacks, if you commit crimes, you're going to be sent out to Guantanamo Bay.
Right.
You're going to be sent out to El Salvador. You commit any felonies, any crimes, you know, we're coming for you too.
And the thing is, the white people in the crowd, they know that.
Yeah, can sir.
The same way he said, he didn't say this is an invasion, but he was talking about the way he was talking about us. He communicated to the white people, we got to do something to him. And that's when the mass shootings start happening.
Can sir.
You know what I'm saying? Because white people who think like Donald Trump, they know what it is. He don't have to say it directly. They know what it is. That's why they're so zealous about Trump.
And not only that, sir, since his first what do you call it? His first term, you know, you had white people coming out saying that they're ready to fight and protect their families for Donald Trump. You know what I mean? And this, I remember this was like 2020. I mean, so like a 2019. 2019, I remember people were, you know, not people, white people, they were saying that they were ready to fight for Donald Trump.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And what happened? What happened, Malagma? They were so ready that because his last, he was going to serve a second term and he didn't get elected. What they do? They went and they broke into, what did they break into?
To the Capitol.
Capitol. They broke into the Capitol.
Good night.
and he pardoned those criminals. Those are real criminals. He's talking about what did we say earlier, Malakma, or Officer Oscar Ward, that he labeled us.
Right.
What was the term we used?
He labeled us.
Yeah, remember saying like that he calls us
criminals, rapists,
yeah,
drug dealers,
all of that.
They're bringing
over criminals,
bringing their worst.
But the same criminals that fought for him and broke into the Capitol, those are the criminals who he pardoned.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But good working people who make America great, keep America going.
Right.
Those are the people who he wants to get rid of.
Right.
And then there's the thing, sir, that he recently said, you know, now they have a thing where I forgot that woman. There's a woman. I can't recall what's her position under him, but she was saying that you know, deport yourself now because if we find you, if you deport yourself now, it's gonna be worse. But if you deport yourself now, you could gain like legal status.
Right.
But now he came out with a thing saying that if you get deported, and if your boss, like let's say a farm, if a farm now vouches for you, and they be like, man, you know what? This was a good worker. They could bring you back. He was a good slave. This is a good slave. You know, this is an obedient slave.
Right.
You know, he'll serve us to his last breath.
Right.
You know, like those are the ones that
they want to keep.
They want to bring back. It was a law that he's trying to say that, you know, if you work for some, you know, a company or something like that, and they can say that you have a good name, they could you know, bring you back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's only for what? To serve slavery.
Right.
Nothing else.
It's not because they care about you. They care about themselves.
Keeping America running.
They care about themselves. That's
sir.
why you're here. That's why they want you here.
Sir.
You know what I'm saying? They didn't say, oh, we need people for agriculture. Let's bring these Mexicans. We can use them.
Right.
And not pay them any money.
Right.
They can pick cotton and not pay them any money.
Imagine that.
And it's crazy how you know, the way America is towards us, and it's wrong for us to say we're about us and we're not about anybody else. Like we don't have the right to exclude everyone and only love each other, but every other nation does have that right.
Right.
America clearly is about that.
Sir.
You know what I'm saying? Donald Trump.
Go ahead, man.
Just real quick, want to add. I put the link in the chat for anybody that wants to join. If you got any questions, if you got any comments, you want to throw your input on what we're talking about, feel free to join us. But go ahead,
Yeah, come on, sir.
And another statistic ain't nobody look at, or they don't look at. Look how many your oppressors crash and wreck people in car wrecks and drunk drivers and kill people.
Right.
They don't keep that statistic because they the ones riding all over the road, crashing into people, killing people every day. Like this happens every day in every city. They don't keep that statistic.
Right.
And that's a crime.
Sir.
Whole time they're saying that you hear that thing that goes around, oh, Asians don't know how to drive well. I wonder if that's something that they promoted to cover themselves up. Because I never heard about Esau driving crazy and drunk. It's always about Asians don't know how to drive. Chinese don't know how to drive. I wonder if that's just what do you call it?
A saying.
What is it? There's a term for it. A stereotype.
Yeah, kind.
Because I remember Jenner Muhammad brought it out how it's a stereotype about Asians selling rat and dog and stuff like that. I'm not saying they don't do it, but it's something that was definitely being pushed to get them out of, I think, white people neighborhood or something like that.
Sir. And if I could, I remember back in, was it Pearl Harbor with the Japanese, right? They were an enemy to America, and America were saying, you know, stereotypes about Japanese, And America always has stereotypes about, you know, a race of people. But the thing is that when they made peace, they started to say positive things about the Japanese, how they were good, you know, mathematicians, and they were good, and you know, this and that. And what happened was that in less than 10 years, people started to have a positive perspective on the Japanese. And America always dictates, you know, the perception of a people so much that, you know, we're going back to how they always criminalize us, and they push a negative narrative on how we conduct ourselves, you know what I'm saying? But really, that's who they are, you know what I mean? But the thing, what I'm trying to say is that America they can dictate how we perceive people, and it's through propaganda. They'll tell us these people are wicked and criminals and evil, and then we'll believe it. And then in less than 10 years, they'll tell us the opposite, and then we'll fall back and then be like, oh, those are good people. You know what I mean? But they'll never do that for so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. They're always gonna throw us in the mud. And anything that has to do with making us look bad and evil, that's what they're gonna do. But you know, another people, they have the power to make them look good.
Right.
Cancer.
So as stated, you know, like that's the thing, right? They say they make themselves the epitome of being civil, once again, of being intelligent, you know. So that's white supremacy.
Okay.
So like, did you want to touch one more story, sir?
Nah, we're gonna wrap it up with that.
Kind no sweat. So I mean that's about it. Do you want to read a little bit more on this? Or? Yeah, it was a little bit more. It says Army spokesman Stephen Warren told AP that no final decisions on the parade, which all is slated to be classified as a national special security event, have been made. Another spokesman, Colonel Dave Butler, added that the Army is excited about the parade and hopes the entire nation will be able to celebrate with us. Dang, so you know that's the spirit of America, man, right there in that whole situation.
I was going to say something real quick, like, man, Blacks, Latinos, and Natives, we got to wake up because it's only going to get worse.
Right.
It's only going to get worse for us, for you. And the only solution, the only way to get protection is to serve the Most High.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, man, that ain't too hard to see, man. You know what I'm saying? You Black and Hispanic, you gotta like, I'm saying, just turn on the news channel. Like, you know what I mean? Anybody got that neighbor app? You ever heard that neighbor app?
I heard it.
My rib got it.
The neighbor app, right? So the other day they were talking about someone posted on the neighbor app, Citizen app, that there's ice at Home Depot. There's ice in Home Depot, and then I was looking at the comments, and a lot of the comments were like, "Yeah, they need to be there. They need to be there. They should." It doesn't say. It doesn't say. It was
More
like,
likely Edomites.
it says anonymous. But the thing is that these are people in your area. You know what I'm saying? People that are your neighbors. That's why it's called the neighbor app. These are your neighbors.
Well, if you live here, your neighbors are Hispanic. You know what I'm saying? Like, is it
No. Well, I mean, there is Hispanics. Or some, like I know my neighbors. I know who's Hispanic, who's an Edomite.
I hear, but I'm saying if you live somewhere like, you know, where it's Hispanic.
Okay, it's like
so like
you live in Koreatown. You know what I'm saying?
So like I was gonna say, but
Hispanic,
a lot of our communities got gentrified. Well, we moved out of our communities and we went to the desert. We have to go to San Bernardino. We're talking about you know, in California. We have to go to San Bernardino. We have to go to Victorville. We have to go to, you know, Apple Valley, and you know what I mean, in the middle of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? They get us to build our communities and get them thriving, prospering, and then they come in, they infiltrate it or they gentrify it, and then they just take over our businesses. because we don't want to support each other, man. But so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man, uphold your brothers, man. Invest in your brothers, man. Keep their businesses prospering. You know, you'd rather spend your money with the oppressor. You know, he got you over here looking effeminate when your own brother and sister is gonna have you looking like a prince and a princess.
Right. If I could, sir, could we just touch quickly on that one, the Home Depot raid?
Oh yeah, come.
Yeah, we should definitely.
If I could just say this too, sir, while he's doing that, when you bring out this heavy, sir, you know, because I was on the internet and I'm hearing and I'm reading comments of white people like, yeah, we've been ready, we've been training 30 years for this moment. we you know, we got guns, So there's people out there who've been training for this, for civil war, and Caucasians know who they're going to attack.
They've been dreaming about this, sir.
Right.
They've been
praying for
that.
That's crazy. And so, like I said, if I could, that's that precept that says, just paraphrasing, it says something about how they come up with wickedness in their beds, and this in Psalms. You know what you're talking about?
Yeah.
God, sir.
That's Trump.
God.
Elon Musk, when he was up there with Trump, he was just giving them ideas. Do this, do that, do that.
Yeah.
He's probably laying in his big old bed with white horse, thinking about the greatest ways to oppress.
Yeah.
Imagine this too, like if you're a white man, right, and you go to Home Depot, picking on the Christ at Home Depot, like who's gonna say anything to you?
Right.
No one's gonna say nothing to you.
Right.
But if you go to a Chinese man, you're like, why don't you speak English? Where's your ID? Where's your identification? Are you legal? That's gonna be a whole outcry right there. You know, you're gonna be on
stop
news.
Stop Asian hate.
Right away. Stop Asian hate. That's so crazy.
Come on, sir.
They said to stop Asian hate. They stopped that shit.
Yeah. What's the outcry for stop Mexican and black hate?
Everybody saying stop immigrant hate.
Yeah.
I'm using the word immigrant because that's the word they use.
And you know who's gonna be the first ones to come against you?
Your own
niggas.
People. They're gonna be the own Mexicans, own Hispanics, own niggas. They're gonna be like
the taco truck on every corner.
Shame, man.
Type of guy.
Sir.
And that's why the greatest commandment is to love your brothers yourself.
Right.
That's what's needed in our community.
Sir.
Good night.
Damn right, sir.
Let me play the story real quick so we close out.
Go ahead.
It's reportedly raided the parking lot of a Home Depot in Pomona, detaining more than a dozen day laborers.
Immigrant rights advocates are up in arms over the incident, calling it immoral and offering advice to those who might be targeted. Eyewitness News reporter Leticia Juarez joining us live in Pomona with the latest on what happened.
Well, Mark and Giovanna, the Home Depot is a popular spot with day laborers who come here looking for work, trying to help their families in some way by providing them with that work. Now, what they encountered here, though, this morning were ICE agents that detained and arrested them. And that, of course, is prompting swift backlash from immigrant rights groups. Immigrant advocates stood with signs as they called for the removal of immigration and custom enforcement agents from the community. The gathering coming together hours after ICE raided a Pomona Home Depot, detaining several day laborers waiting outside, hoping to be hired for the day. One of them, Carlos, narrowly avoided being caught. Speaking through an interpreter, he described the emotional toll.
When I started seeing the scene, I started crying. The tears started leaving. We're here. We're human beings. We're only here to support ourselves and to maintain our families.
According to Carlos and other witnesses, the raid unfolded just around 8 a.m. as ICE agents arrived in both marked and unmarked vehicles, rounding up workers from the parking lot.
It took 15 to 20 day laborers who were only here asking for work.
Right.
It is unjust, it is immoral, and it should be a crime.
The raid sparked swift backlash. Local immigrant rights groups quickly coming together to condemn the federal immigration agency and urge those who are undocumented to know their rights.
It's not a crime to look for a day of work, for an honest day of work.
Honest day of work.
That is not a crime to be a day laborer. It's honorable.
You are detained. You can exercise your rights.
That's so heavy.
You can refuse.
What are we doing? We out here just going to work.
We
not. They tell you we're criminals. Trump's gonna tell you we're criminals. Who's a criminal? That's not a criminal.
How can you be a criminal?
Why are you deporting them?
If I could,
You know what I'm saying?
I'll tell you what we're doing.
Break it down.
We're existing. That's all we're doing. We
trying to get
exist.
by.
And they hate us. They can't stand the sight of us. Right? The German Hyman's brought that out. Like they hate it. They can't see us when we're sad. They can't see us when we're happy. They can't, you know what? He had a term, right? That there's a medical term, I think, for what they have, where they just can't control how cruel they are. They enjoy it. Like all those comments that you saw, right, sir? Like in there, that's how much they enjoy seeing us suffer. And like they go ahead, sir.
And to add on to that, the reason why is because no one's gonna stop. There's no one to shame you about it.
Right.
It's like a lust thing. Like you have this lust to envy this person, and you know that you can hate this person, and no one's gonna condemn you.
Right.
So you know what I'm saying? It has never been wrong to oppress a Hispanic, a Black, or Native, but it has been wrong to oppress an Asian.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, let me add this to it. Like the other day you had ISUPK right here in front of my house. They're doing the roofing.
Yeah.
Roofing right here. I'm talking about right here at my neighbor's house on top of the roof, fixing his roof and shit, right?
Yeah.
But they're right there having the time of their life on there.
Yeah.
Right there on top of the roof, bullshitting, talking shit, laughing, joking. That's who ICE wants to get.
They don't understand.
Them cats on top of the roof, and that's on top of the roof. I've done worked in kitchens before. In the kitchens, it's the same thing. Bullshitting, playing around, you know. And I ain't gonna front, like working with cats like that, it make time go by faster because it's just a whole vibe. There's a whole vibe in there. Just, you know, it just make time go by because niggas just always talking shit, playing, and you know, it's just easier to get, you know, just make time go by faster.
But if
But
I
then
could,
them,
go ahead, sir.
if I could, but them is like, oh, they're illegal immigrants and they're over here taking the jobs and they're on drugs and they're raping and they're killing and they're doing all kinds of madness. Like, bro, like that's just some shit you see on TV. And there's a lot of ISUPKs, Mexicans that just repeat shit that's on TV.
Yeah,
right.
But the shit that they're seeing on TV, oh, they're criminals, illegals. They're just like a fucking parrot, you know, just repeating what's on TV.
Right.
But you know damn well they ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying? You had a
Right.
fucking slavery and you working and you just you know doing your job and they do it better than you. Put it like that. They just do it better than you because they're in there just making things look easy, working fast and working.
They need it more.
They need it more.
They need it more than
And you just being a hater because they work better than you.
and they hate. It's an envy thing. They like that. So they work harder than you. They're better than you, and they just don't understand why is this motherfucker so happy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I have it better than him, but I'm depressed. He's happy.
Right.
But his ass can change.
But so like I said, if I could, right, like in the voice of Officer Regalia, you know, he always used to say, "Wake your goddamn game up,
Yeah.
Blacks, so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Americans, we got to wake our game up, man, because this is not our rest.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Even though, you know what I mean, brothers are, it's too easy for us, man. Slaving under the sun, putting up roofs, you know, doing the gardening work and all that. It's hard work for somebody else, but for so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Americans, it's too easy for us. But don't forget that this is not our rest.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we live, we try to make the best of it. You know, drink with the brothers and then go to slave. You know what I mean? But never forget that this is not our rest, man. We still got to be on our swivel. That's another word that Officer God used to be on your swivel. You know what I mean? And you can't, sir.
Is that if I could real quick? That precept, it says I seen servants on what is it? I seen
On
servants on
horses.
horses.
You can.
And I seen kings on. It's basically the
The
opposite.
opposite, yeah.
That's what's going on right now. We're not
Yeah.
supposed to be slaves. We're not supposed to be building houses.
Kind.
That's what we're doing in Egypt.
Right.
We've been in great cities and
Kind.
towns. We're not.
Kind,
That's
sir.
not us.
Right.
Mexicans are not supposed to be hard workers. We're hard. Yeah, we're hard workers. You know what I'm saying?
Kind.
Yeah, we is. So are Black people and Native Indians. You know what I'm saying?
Kind.
But that's not who we are, though.
Right,
We're
sir.
supposed to be ruling over Esau, these other nations.
Kind.
Like we working hard for the wrong people. Like we working hard for the white man, you know, we ain't here working hard for America. But like, if you was working hard, why not put that same spirit in the work of the Lord?
Right.
You know, you try to do overtime in the work of the Lord.
Damn right.
You know, do overtime in here, do extra work in here.
That's
you
right.
know, have a good work ethic in the truth. Don't just have a good work ethic for the white man. You get what I'm saying? Like, you know, you're gonna do all that overtime, and you know, I gotta be there on time. I gotta leave you know, a little late, and you know, never call out. Like, why can't you do that in the truth? Like, if you is cried in the truth, you should be doing the same. You should be doing the same thing for the moral side. You know. Go ahead. We gonna say.
I was gonna say, and that's the problem with the with Christians, right? Or if you a Catholic or Christian or anything, any denomination, that's the problem, because you're gonna say that you can't be perfect, but you want to be perfect in every sport. What were you saying right now, sir?
Right. You want to have dance heavy.
What were you saying right now, sir?
Good work ethic,
right? You say when it comes to the work of the Lord, oh man, I ain't got time, I'm tired.
Right,
but for the oppressor, you're gonna do that overtime. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to being perfect, you want to be perfect in kicking the ball. You want to be perfect in shooting the ball. You want to be perfect in throwing hands and dancing and everything, except when it comes for the Lord, that's when you come with an excuse. You want to put in overtime for the oppressor, but when it comes to doing the work of the Lord, now you have an excuse. But in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, man, we know cowards with no excuses, man.
Damn right. Damn right.
We do the work of the Lord.
Damn right, man. We're gonna wrap it up with that though. It's like you.
Nah, sir.
Okay.
Trying to finish the video. It's like a minute left or 50 seconds left.
All right, go ahead.
Choose to answer questions, and you can ask to speak to an attorney.
Eyewitness News reached out to ICE for a comment. The agency issued this statement. Due to our operational tempo and the increased interest in our agency, we are not able to research and respond to rumors or specifics of routine daily operations for ICE.
Now, immigrant rights officials are telling those day laborers that they should not be put off by coming to places like the Home Depot to look for work. They do tell them, though, to know their rights before coming out here in case they are detained. And they're also letting the families know of those who were arrested this morning by ICE agents that if they need help getting information, they can contact them through a hotline number. It's 909-361-4588. Reporting in Pomona, Leticia Juarez, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
All right. So that you know, that's it for that story, sir. Just wanted to share that because that's how real the situation is getting, man. I know there's a saying, right? If immigrants are still, you know, what is it? If there's such a drain on the system, why is it that ICE is running them up at work? You know, so you know that's just something, you know, that we should take awareness of, to see that America has waged war on you, Raza. Right. And now is the time that y'all want to awake out of sleep, as Romans 13:11 says, right? Now it is high time to awake out of sleep, man, because, you know, we going through hell right now. The so-called Latino, so-called Mexican, so-called Hispanic community is in fear right now for everything going on, man.
Okay. Right. Yeah, man. And you know what? Like, it's time for us to get together. The scripture in the Bible says, Zephaniah 2:1, gather yourselves together.
Right.
Gather together, O nation not desired. We're the people that are not desired in America. Right. You know, and listen, if you don't believe in the Bible, just come. Let's get together anyways. So what? You know, if you don't believe in the Bible, all right, no sweat. If you're in the Chicano movement, I mean, give me
indigenous movement,
whatever you call yourself, whatever it is. I think one thing we could all understand and we could all have an agreement is that we're targets in America.
Right.
So with that alone, we should just be like, all right, let's chop it up. Let's talk. Let's see what's going on. Let's figure it out. You know, one thing we can't do is look at each other as enemies.
Right.
We can't do that. Do you get what I'm saying? Because that's going to cause more separation.
Right.
And then we're going to be fighting each other. And then what the fuck is going to happen when we both end up in ICE detention center together? Then we're gonna be like, oh man, well, you know, we shouldn't have been doing that. We shouldn't have been fighting. You know, it's too late now. You know, we should have thought about this shit when we was on the outside. Now we gotta figure it out a different way. Salaki, you know what I mean? But y'all get the point. Like we gotta figure that out now. We gotta figure that out now. You know, don't wait till the last minute. You know what I mean? It's like, go ahead. Anybody else wanna chime in?
Sir, if I could, like, ain't nothing wrong. You know what I mean? Like, ain't nothing wrong with humbling yourself and realizing who has the best solution for our people, man. And the ISUPK since 1969 has never failed so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You see us, man. And when our Officer Lahab, you know, he brought up that scripture, you know, right now is the time to gather ourselves together. And we've been doing it. You know what I mean? We've been doing it in the spirit. We've been doing it. And right now is the time to not only come together, but also glorify the Most High Power, man. Because that is he willed that decree. That's a decree for so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to gather together. You know what I mean? Put your brick in. You know, like the ISUPK, once again, has never failed so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans since 1969.
Damn right. Salaki, Officer Matabar, was there anything you wanted to bring out, sir, before we close out?
Not a lot. That was a great teaching, man. The water for y'all having me on.
The water to you, sir.
The water.
Joining us, man. Anytime, sir.
I just want to say something real quick, man. Like, real quick, we don't believe in the Bible that you believe in. See what I'm saying? We don't believe in religion. Let's just leave it like that. We believe in the word of the Most High. You understand? So with that being said, we take people off of drugs. We take sisters out of the terrible lifestyle that they're in.
Right.
Brothers get their mental illness cured
Right.
in here.
Right.
Not cured. I'm talking about cured.
Right.
You understand? We cast out demons.
Right.
You understand? We fix brothers' lives under Commanding General Yohana.
That's right.
We don't fail. Why? Because not because of us, because we serve the Lord.
That's right.
Not the God of Christianity, the God of the Bible, man.
Damn
The
right.
ISUPK has the answers because we serve the Lord, and the Lord got the answers in the Bible.
Damn right. God, damn right, sir. So with that, man, anybody else got anything else to bring? We're gonna, close out the show. I'll put the link right there for our channel, Bubba Kasha. Let me shout out the chat real quick. We have some other people join. Trooper Zakarwan, Shalom Yashibakata. We had Nakazak, Shalom, preach up
Shalom, congratulations.
We had a sister by the name of Yashar Banaf, Shalom, Lord of Crisis.
Shalom, sis.
Then,
Hey, Salaki, too, one more thing, if I may. Y'all need to make y'all flyer, man, and put up on y'all Facebook so everybody can start checking out the radio show and everything.
We'll do that, sir, for sure.
Damn right. Okay. We'll be back at it again next week, Israel, Lord allow. I think we're supposed to be in the streets of Hollywood, sir, next Saturday.
Right. Next Saturday, we're gonna be on Hollywood Boulevard from 12 to 5. 12 to 5, we're gonna be on Hollywood Boulevard right in front of Dolby Theater. You come check us out, Black, Hispanic, Native American, Indian, whoever. You come check us out right there on Hollywood Boulevard. We're gonna be teaching the word of the Most High. If you got a question, comment, or view against what we say, man, we're gonna be right there. And then we're gonna do what we always do and say what we want to say, tell it to whoever's in front of us. We ain't gonna care about it. We're gonna do what we've done since 1969.
Damn right. With that, man, we gonna be back at it again next week. Lord allow, Israel, Lord allow, Rasa. Real quick, I want to say, man, also if you want to battle us on the show, if you got some questions, comments, and all that, I might always have the link up at the beginning of the show, man. But with that, man, we'll be back at it again next week. Hey, Shalom, Israel. Shalom.
Shalom.
pueblo santo. Jehová, tu Dios, te ha escogido para hacerle un pueblo especial. Jehová, tu Dios, te ha escogido para hacerle un pueblo especial. Un pueblo. No está hablando de los chinos, no está hablando de los árabes, no está hablando de los japoneses, de nosotros. Nosotros somos la gente más odiada en este mundo, más odiada. Y toda la gente de